This rally in Compound in the COMP token is massive. Here, look at this. Plus 31% in the last 24 hours. Plus 82% in the last 7 days. Plus 167% in the last 3 weeks, roughly. Where is all of this coming from? It's not increased usage of the platform. It's not tokenomics. And I can prove that. Let's have a look. Here, this is the total value locked of Compound Finance on DeFi Llama. And it's currently 2 billion across 3 different blockchains, most of it being on Ethereum. And it used to be at 12 billion. A pretty heavy collapse. And that's not just due to crypto in general going down, because when we look at the Compound total value locked in Ethereum, it's also quite ugly. So this is not where the rally is coming from. It's also not tokenomics. Look at this. This is the vesting schedule of the comp token. Today we have roughly 8.6 million comp tokens. And 1 year from now, this will be at roughly 10 million. A linear vesting schedule where the initial inflation, relatively speaking to what was floating, was pretty high. Now, 1 year from now, we only have 16% of inflation. It's not super big for a governance token of a borrowing and lending platform, but still, it's not pretty. It's not the reason for those rallies here. And so we can look at the news, and apparently there is whale activity. Apparently more whales are buying into Compound. But that's why it's so important to verify, to look at the blockchain data. Is really the number of whales that get into Compound increasing over time? Or is it rather the small retail that's buying? Or is it maybe even a short squeeze? Too many people betting on the falling Compound price, and somebody is just short-term inflating the price to knock out all of those shorts and take away their money. Let's look at the hypotheses that whales are buying. This here is the number of wallets that hold at least 1,000 Compound tokens, or $60,000 roughly worth of the token. And initially this was rising quite a bit. So this chart starts in April of 2020 and it stopped rising somewhat 2 years afterwards, April of 2022. Since then we are going sideways, and the recent rally rather saw a decline in the number of whales that hold the Compound token. This here is the number of retail holders. How many wallets are there in existence that hold at least one Compound token? It's much more of a smooth line. It tends to not peak out in January of 2022. It rather rose another 50%. Very different to the dynamics of the whales, right? Retail still continues buying in. The whales, they are stopping. And so I've got my doubts when headlines like this are printed. Why would the whales potentially stop accumulating Compound? Well, first of all, the usage isn't going up, right? We saw this in the total value locked. It rather crashed, even relative to the rest of the market. But then also, whales understand the value of opportunity cost. So they're not just looking at the US dollar price of an asset, they look at the relative performance to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Because if Compound cannot outperform those, then why take on more risk? Compound is more risky than Bitcoin and Ethereum, so you need to get this risk compensated. You need to get more performance for Compound than for Bitcoin and ETH. And so look at this long-term chart. This is Compound measured in Bitcoin. And since June of 2020 to today, it went down by 91%, relatively speaking. In other words, had you bought in June of 2020 Bitcoin instead of Compound, you'd now have 10 times the money, 10 times the purchasing power, a 10 times larger US dollar valuation in your portfolio. This is a chart relative to ETH. Here, the underperformance is 96% even. So had you bought ETH in June of 2020, you would now have more than 20 times the purchasing power. So this rally obviously is quite significant, but it cannot make up for all the losses that had happened before. And so the whales rather take advantage of this pump and tend to sell off. So what's then the reason for all of this excitement? These kinds of rallies, they don't happen out of nothing, right? There's a lot of capital being pumped into the asset. Millions and millions of dollars. Look at the news 4 days ago. Compound founder forms Superstate to create bond fund with Ethereum for record keeping. So the new fund will invest in short-term government bonds, relying on a traditional Wall Street transfer agent for keeping track of holders, but using Ethereum as a secondary record-keeping source. And so he's filing with the SEC for this Superstate company, using traditional finance, but also writing things on the Ethereum blockchain. And maybe he will integrate his Compound protocol in all of this. That's probably the reason why there is currently excitement. One might question though, how long can this excitement last? News-driven rallies are very dangerous rallies. And so I personally like to look at trading volume. Trading volume and price are correlated to one another. When there's a lot of attention, the asset gets traded a lot, trading volume shoots up, price shoots up, then the news die down, the attention dies down, the trading volume goes down, and the price usually follows. Let's have a look at the Compound price and here at the bottom at the trading volume. And let's look at those trading volume spikes in the past, especially when we went up in price, right? During positive news. Here, let's look at the 14th of January. Trading volume went up, price went up, trading volume normalized, price normalized, and rather tended to creep downwards. Now the trading volume is really breaking out. More than 1 million tokens being traded on some days. And so my strong suspicion here is that once the trading volume normalizes, that's then when the price tends to revert to normal. Not as quickly as it went up, but it's simply a gradual decline when people that bought into the pump get somewhat disappointed that it doesn't just continue to rally. And so I don't know if it happens over here, or if it happens over here, or if it happens over here. But at some point this rally will stop. Excitement can't last forever. And the fundamentals of the protocol actually not being used, they will shine through, they will impact the price. The only thing that could stop this is really if suddenly massive amounts of US government bonds get into the Compound protocol. But if that really happens, it's pretty unclear. This could be an entirely new project. Compound might not even be related to anything that involves this Superstate company. So yeah, I am potentially considering to short the token. I won't do it today, but I'm considering to do it once the rally dies down, because the decline is slower than the rise, so there is enough time to get into a short. Betting on altcoins in general to underperform Bitcoin and Ethereum is a good strategy, because most altcoins underperform. There's just a very few PP coins that actually rally. The vast majority is doing poorly, and you can make money from the Satoshi valuations of altcoins going down. From altcoins measured in Bitcoin and in Ethereum going down. Now, making money with falling prices is actually easier than making money from rising prices. And that's because of the return distribution in crypto. Very few altcoins outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum. The vast majority has very poor tokenomics. It has expanding token supply. It doesn't have enough people jumping onto the project. It has a lot of potential competition, and that makes most altcoins underperform. So it is easier to bet on falling prices of the poorest altcoins than it is to find the needle in the haystack, to find the one altcoin that might do better than Bitcoin. If you just select a random altcoin out of the top 100, chances are that you're going to do worse than Bitcoin. The chances are probably above 80%. So it's easier to generate alpha on top of just holding Bitcoin by betting on falling prices of poor performers. And the first time where I did this very publicly on the YouTube channel was with the Pancake Swap token. So this is the chart, Cake relative to BNB. It really crashed. And we totally anticipated this crash, more than 50%, because of the unlock of the staking program of Cake. Now you don't have to trust me, simply just look at the history in Premium here with the keyword Cake We talked about this all the time, starting even from the 3rd of January 2023. So this was over here. And so this is how I handle my videos. I never delete any premium video. I never delete any YouTube video. You can track back what I've said in the past and simply look at how this ages. And I'm for sure not right all the time, but since statistics are in our favor when we bet on falling prices, I am more often right than wrong when it comes to shorting altcoins. Now here's another example. This is Filecoin. This is falling relative to Bitcoin. It's still an open position. Then we've got Optimism. I have talked about this Optimism short already on YouTube, and I still keep that open. I don't think that as to date, which is the 5th of June 2023, that the team and the early backers have already sold. Most of the price depreciation we see so far is probably from short speculative money such as us. There's also other very profit-making positions. This one, for example, I'm not going to disclose this openly now. This is part of Premium. Here's another one that we expect to very soon go further down. Again, part of Premium. And so that's why the relatively high price of $75 per month is worth it. There is real alpha, real outperformance in the Premium membership. If you've got $5,000 that you're willing to dedicate to crypto investments, then I'm very sure that the money that you spend on Premium will more than make up for it. The crypto market is simply that inefficient. It's way easier to beat crypto than it is, for example, the stock market, where there's now so many professional investors already in it. But I do understand how spending $75 on a monthly subscription might feel somewhat daunting at the beginning. But I did see how most people simply stay subscribed for the long term because of all of those opportunities. And so here comes the deal. If you are unhappy with the content that comes with Premium, if you are dissatisfied, then I will refund you 100% if you message me in the first week. So you sign up, you watch all the videos, you download all the content you want, you check out the Telegram channels, etc. And if after 1 week you don't feel like you get adequate value out of this, then message me in Telegram or email me and you get all your money back. I will simply just refund you within Stripe. I'm that certain that it's really worth it. So there's really no downside for you. There's only upside for trying it out. I really wouldn't know a reason why you wouldn't just give it a shot. So looking forward to see you on Premium. Looking forward to see you in the Premium chats, in the Premium Telegrams. We discuss various opportunities over here. And of course, thanks for watching this video. Bye-bye.